Well, there it is. Hi guys, and welcome to another video. This is Witty, and this is going to be a discussion vlog style video. Very brief, hopefully. I try not to ramble on too much. About the BlizzCon 2015. Friday, what did we learn? Well, I only watched a small part of it, but what I watched, I got quite a lot of information from, and I'd like to give you my thoughts on that. So if you'll permit me to play some Warcraft 3 cinematics for you to enjoy whilst I'm discussing, then let's move forward. So the first things first, in the opening ceremony, Mike Morhaime mentioned that next month marks the 20th anniversary of Warcraft 2. So if you watch the Witty Warcraft video that I made the other day on my other channel, I discussed whether Warcraft 3 is, well, Warcraft is coming back, perhaps Warcraft 3, all the classic games basically, because Blizzard are trying to, create or bring those games back, I think, because they're recruiting for a software engineer to basically work on the coding of those games to get them up to snuff with operating systems and therefore be playable. So the fact that Mark Morhaime suggested, well, he mentioned the fact that it marks the 20th anniversary of Warcraft 2 next month means that I don't know whether they could possibly have a release of Warcraft 2 up by that point. I mean, I don't know how long it takes to recode, especially if they're hiring for someone. I don't imagine they have it in time for next month. So in my other video that I did for Warty Warcraft today, I discussed the idea of Blizzard coinciding sort of like their games around the Warcraft movie, because I discussed basically my initial reactions to the Warcraft movie trailer. And obviously World of Warcraft is due to release around probably the same time as the Warcraft movie, as well as probably you might expect Warcraft 1 and 2 HD remakes perhaps around that time, so maybe he was just mentioning the 20th anniversary of Warcraft 2, but maybe I read into it too much, because I think that's too little time, 1 month, to get those sort of like revamped and brought up. But we don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but I imagine it'll be like another year we have to wait, or 8 or so months. Anyway, moving on, he mentioned Overwatch. Well, Jeff Kaplan came out and talking about Overwatch, and yeah, there's going to be a £29.99 pre-order available. So the game is going to be pay to free to play, and that's better than what I suggested to Pracky, what it could potentially, well, he was worried it was going to be. I didn't think it would be this way. Basically, he was worried about paying for heroes, because obviously you can change heroes in Overwatch, and do you want to do that? Well, you want to do that, but you don't want to be blocked, as in like, oh, someone says you should change to the Roadhog, and you go to change the Roadhog and it says pay £5.99. You don't want that. So the worst case scenario would be pay to free to pay to win, but instead it's going to be pay to free to play. So by that I mean you're going to pay a lump sum of 30 quid or whatever it is in your regional equivalent, and then you're going to get access to a free-to-play game, which is probably going to have skins and boosts and such for you to buy, but I don't think you're going to have to buy any of the heroes. Overwatch, looking good, but potentially they might have hurt themselves a little bit by that. We'll have to wait and see. I think it's still hyped enough that it's going to be very successful, but my initial concern with Overwatch really is that the general Blizzard consumer, customer, likes to chill and get super addicted to a game. This is where Hearthstone, World of Warcraft, games like that have been super, successful. Whereas a first-person shooter, I'm not sure how patient your average Blizzard consumer is going to be. Like, they might want to pop in, I suppose, and play for an hour or two, and maybe that's all it needs to be. But I don't imagine they're going to be able to play it for hours on end like they could with World of Warcraft, Diablo 3, Hearthstone. Obviously, Warcraft 3, I'm biased to that one. But you know what I mean. Like, a lot of the other games, first-person shooter demands quite a lot of a person. But it is MOBA franchise style, so there's going to be more focus on abilities rather than Twitch aim skills. So I could see it being, playable for a long period of time, but they're trying to hit all markets here. They're trying to go for PS4 and Xbox One as well as PC at the same time. So you've also got other models of this purchasable version of Overwatch, because that is the only version. I don't think there is a truly free-to-play version. You've got the Origins edition, which is £44.99 for British people. And there's the collector's edition, which is like 70 quid, but that's not really that relevant, because that's just basically you're paying for a model and book and art and music and stuff. So that is what it is. We're going to concentrate on the Origins edition. So the Origins edition basically comes with skins for the other heroes, as well as benefits to any other Warcraft, not Warcraft, but just Blizzard properties that you have. So if you have a World of Warcraft, you'll get a little mini Winston pet. If you have, I don't know, a StarCraft 2, you get some portraits. Diablo 3, you get the Mercy Wings, and so on and so forth. So alongside that stuff, which is really inconsequential in my opinion, the Hearthstone card back, I've never cared too much for card backs. You basically get the hero skins. 5 of them by the looks of it. One for Farah, one for Reaper, Tracer, Soldier 76, and Overgrown Bastion. So you're basically pretty much, in my opinion, you're paying £14.99 for 5 skins, because I don't really worry about all the other sort of benefits to the other Blizzard properties. It's nice of them to do that. I suppose one of the interesting thoughts actually is this relates to the next topic, which is Heroes of the Storm. They introduced Tracer as a hero for Heroes of the Storm, so they're not going to be afraid to put in the Overwatch heroes, which was mentioned I think last BlizzCon. Are Overwatch heroes going to be in, Heroes of the Storm, or is it just going to be Warcraft and Diablo and all those kind of properties? Well, Blizzard have put Tracer in, so we don't know how she's going to play, but it's going to be interesting. And I want to talk a little bit more about Overwatch, actually. They did mention 2 other heroes. I can't remember what the other hero was. Well, actually, you got Mai, which is the sort of like, she's like the Inuit with the frozen sort of weapon and abilities focusing around slowing people down. So interesting hero there, but might be a little bit slow and easy to pick off. So I imagine she needs to be supported, or at least hang around tanks a lot of the time, in my initial thoughts. Feel free to watch any of the, if you go onto your Battle.net app, or you just check out the Blizzard website, you can basically catch all of this BlizzCon information. These are just my wrap-up thoughts, and also I need to keep this playing because you're watching nothing right now. So here we go. The other hero was, I can't remember what her name was. Was it Wu or something like that? She reminded me of Fallout 4, how she got into her mechanical vehicle to basically fly around the map and do some damage. She looks like a bit of an all-rounder, maybe another Farah style character, DPS, with a few more sort of like niche abilities. But what I really was excited about, and Praggy didn't think it was going to happen, but I knew. Genji! That dude, what is the robot, kind of looking robot character, but I don't think he is a robot, because he's technically the brother of Hanzo, so unless he becomes a robot afterwards, or Hanzo had a robot brother all along and his parents didn't let him know until it's too late, and then he was devastated by the news, and he never quite became the same person anymore. He just became dark. Anyway, I'm going down a dark path there. Genji. Dude with the sword. Basically, this is a character I'm really excited about, because Pracky will attest to this. If I ever play games like CSGO or, shoot 'em ups, first-person shooters, I always try to be the idiot that gets the knife and tries to kill people with the knife. So that's kind of what Genji is going to be for me. He's going to be my excuse to run around with a weapon just stabbing people instead of playing properly. So I'm really excited about him. And, yeah. That's Overwatch. So moving on to basically what we learned from Heroes of the Storm was that they're going to have what looks like this PvE encounter, but it could potentially be PvP, which is called Arena. So I don't know whether you queue up for it as a team and you go against, artificial intelligence situations. So almost like, have you ever played Impossible Bosses from Warcraft 3 or StarCraft 2? That kind of scenario. It's like World of Warcraft boss fights to a degree, where you're going to be put up against certain situations, you have to deal with mechanics, move out of the fire, deal with the ads, kill the boss, that kind of thing. I don't know whether you've got to race against the other team, or just fight the enemy team, or there is no enemy team, and you're just playing against sort of like the boss fight situation that you're facing. Either way, I think it's a good addition to Heroes of the Storm, and they also released some other heroes. Can I remember what other heroes they were? Probably not, to be honest with you. You had Greymane. So it got me really excited, actually. Even though he was in a werewolf the whole time, and then turned into sort of like this Admiral Proudmoore looking character. I thought it was Admiral Proudmoore for some reason. I just completely ignored the fact that it was a werewolf the whole time beforehand, because he just looked so much like Admiral Proudmoore when he was in human form. And I was super excited about that. I was just like, oh my god, it's Admiral Proudmoore. No, it wasn't. And then, who else did you have? Please remind me. I need to actually check this out. Okay, let's just click on the new heroes, and I'll need to mute that. So you got Greymane. You got, you got a new map type. So map environment, looking more medieval and spooky, sort of like Darkshire. And God, I'm not getting much luck here. Oh yeah. Okay, Lunera. She's the Dryad. she's game, and we don't know much about her, but that's cool. They put a Dryad in there, more reference to Warcraft 3. Love it. And then, of course, you got bad boy Cho'Gall from Warcraft 2, who is really impressive to a degree that he's technically a two-player character. So you would need a buddy to actually play this guy. So two of you would control him. So I suppose one person is going to control the movement and the other person is going to control the abilities. Because if two people can control the movement, then it's going to get really nasty. If you've ever seen me in Warcraft 3 games where I'm trying to control someone and who's left the team and another person is trying to control that same person and they're going back and forth, it's one of the most stressful things to deal with. So who knows what that's going to be like. I think part of me thought, oh, this is like them trying to differentiate Heroes of the Storm from other MOBAs even more, and it kind of is, but the other part is it's mainly just a main marketing scheme from Blizzard to sort of like encourage others to sort of play and get into Heroes of the Storm because they're desperately trying to get the numbers up on that game. Quite clearly, if you pay any attention, it's not necessarily the most successful MOBA. So the idea around it is if you basically play with a friend and they get, because if you've got the virtual ticket or you've been to Blizzcon, then you get Cho'Gall, and then the idea is that you play with a friend and then they can also get Cho'Gall. So it's just basically saying, you know what, bring all your friends in and they can also get this cool character that you're never going to play afterwards. So, but you might stick around for Heroes of the Storm. Anyway, that's my thoughts on Heroes of the Storm. Moving on to Hearthstone. I tell you, I am super addicted to Hearthstone, and I have been for a long time. Regrettably so to some degree, but I got to say, I really do enjoy it despite, you know, the amount of stress it causes. It's super RNG, but it is an incredibly addictive game. Like, it is close to the levels of World of Warcraft addiction that I used to have back in the day. Not quite the same, but I'll find myself popping into Hearthstone a lot just to play it when I have got other games that I need to play, like Witcher 3 that I bought ages ago and still haven't done like more than 10 minutes into it. So I just find it so easy to pop into Hearthstone and just chill out, and I'm sure a lot of you probably feel the same way. So I'm excited about the the well, the what's it called? The League of Explorers. Yes, it does look like a lot of fun. Particularly the frog, which is technically a murloc, but I thought it was a frog. He looks like the biggest troll ever. I don't know. It's just more Hearthstone, more content, more cards, more mechanics. That's just what they need to do. They just need to keep pumping that out and, you know, give people something to spend their money on, I suppose, and I'm quite willing to do that for Hearthstone because I do get a lot out of Hearthstone. I do play it a lot, so I can justify it, at least in that sense. So other than that, not too much to talk about regarding Hearthstone, other than I think it's probably just going to be Blizzard's biggest game, actually. Potentially bigger than Overwatch overall. We'll have to wait and see. Overwatch comes out, what, June next year, I think, so we'll have to see how well Hearthstone's still doing by then, but it is basically, like I say, it's the definition of like the Blizzard game. I don't want to be like offensive or anything like that, but generally a lot of us are kind of casual. We just like to chill out and get addicted to a game. And things like Hearthstone and World of Warcraft are games that you can easily play in the background whilst doing other things, or just concentrate on them and still enjoy them just as much. So I think Hearthstone could potentially be Blizzard's biggest game, really, in the long run. So World of Warcraft, I can't tell you too much about the actual mechanics and all of that, or how the Legion expansion is going to fare out, because I went to bed beforehand because I'd already been up at 3 a.m. that day. So I'm going to catch up on that after this video, so I do apologize that I can't give you my initial thoughts on that, but I can talk about the trailer that they showed for it. And my god, did that look good! Holy shit, that was really good. Like, Blizzard are back on form with those trailers. I mean, they've never really been that far off form, but I love how they didn't fall into the trap of making Therian Rin look like a pretty boy. He looked worn out, he looked old and knackered, but, you know, a real veteran, which is exactly what he's supposed to be. This fighter, this pit fighter, he's a warrior, but he's been through many struggles. And in World of Warcraft, they kind of depict him as this character that just looks sort of like very pretty and all that. I don't like that. Whereas in this trailer, he looked fucking awesome. Excuse my language, but he did. So yeah, I'm really impressed with how he looked, as well as just that way that trailer. Honestly, go and watch it right now if you haven't seen it. Seriously, go and watch that. You've got a freaking Inferno crashing into the ship. It's a green boulder, and a lot of people are like, oh, that looks like a nasty missile. But the moment I saw that, because I play Warcraft 3, I was like, that's going to be an Inferno. Not only is it going to destroy part of the ship, an Inferno is going to come out of that. And he's like, it did. Sylvanas is in it as well, helping him out, and their ship freaking crashes. Oh, it's so good. It really is. Like, it really harkens back to sort of like the older school days of Warcraft and what it's all about. So I really like that they're getting that in there, which is probably why they actually did it the way they did, to be honest, because it does make me think about the Warcraft movie trailer quite a lot, actually, now I'm thinking about that. Sort of like this real sort of grittier style to Warcraft. Less pretty, less happy, less fun, just more nasty, grueling. So I like that. Anyway, StarCraft 2. That's what you guys are all here for. Nah, it's not really, is it? But anyway, Legacy of the Void. We know it looks good, I guess. I don't really know that much else about it. I've even got access to the beta, but I just haven't honestly been playing it because I don't expect to play it. I'd be amazed if I have time to actually even play the game. I would love to play it and put it onto the channel. You guys have to let me know, but I've got a lot of finances that I'm still sorting out through now, and I've got a minimalistic amount of time to deal with that. Whereas this game's coming out, I'm pretty excited for it, but at the same time, I could potentially just play it a week or two later and stream that. So it's not the end of the world. The cinematic looks great for it. I mean, they really do a good job with that kind of stuff. But other than that, I'm not too worried about the game itself. And Diablo 3, I'm not sure what they mentioned. I know they only had like 1 hour for Diablo 3, but Praki mentioned, because we were discussing like together our thoughts on BlizzCon as we were watching it for the time period that we did watch it, but in the initial opening ceremony where they talked about, StarCraft, Hearthstone, Heroes of the Storm, World of Warcraft, Overwatch, he's just like, yeah, fuck you, Diablo 3, because Chris Metzen was like the last guy. He talked about World of Warcraft, and then he's just like, and that just about does it. See you later. And they hadn't actually talked about Diablo 3 at all, or sort of like, given us any sort of trailers or information regarding what is coming out about that. So that was freaking hilarious. It's just like a big FU to Diablo 3. But I don't know. I mean, Diablo 3 is what it is. I think it's fine for what it is. It's like, it's almost again like those kind of boss fight scenario from Heroes of the Storm. It's just a PvE kind of game. Sure, you can play it multiplayer and alongside friends and stuff. I think a lot of people just play it solo. They just want to sort of like RPG style, just level up in the game, get a strong character, and try some different builds out, and then they're done. I don't think Diablo 3 is going to bring that much else. So there you go. That's basically my thoughts on BlizzCon 2015 so far, because I've only honestly watched about 2 hours of the initial starting ceremony, and that's about it. So I will probably make some videos later on down the line before I lose my voice, as you can hear. Regards to my thoughts, probably on the World of Warcraft Legion, because I've yet to watch that, so I'm going to have to watch that and give my initial reactions and thoughts as to what that expansion is looking like now with the latest information from 2015. So if you want to find out more, then make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with your friends, and stay tuned for more. Thank you very much for listening, and take care, guys. I'll see you later.